You know what? I can't even put it into words how much I love this team and how much I love what the Montreal Canadiens have been building over the past couple of seasons. You see the clip that you're watching on the screen right now? It's Lane Hutson's teammates reacting and celebrating to the big news that we all heard just a couple of hours ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how it's making you feel watching this clip, but all I'm going to say is that is a good team to be a part of right there. That's pure happiness. The Canadiens, on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving by the way, have officially announced an 8-year contract extension with Lane Hutson. And believe me when I say, this contract couldn't be any better for the team. Holy smokes. It's going to carry a cap hit of $8.85 million. That's the average. And I know Kent Hughes and his team they're probably getting a lot of praise with this one, okay? And there's no doubt about it, they deserve a lot of credit for getting a player like this on such a team-friendly contract. A defenseman who just put up 66 points in his rookie season. But what we can't forget is that in every deal that's ever been made, it takes two to tango. And Lane Hutson, he's not stupid, okay? He knows about the cap. He knows the direction things are going in over the next few years. But this kid, he left money on the table to sign a team-friendly contract. And Habs fans, we should be pretty thankful on this Thanksgiving. Because one thing we don't have is a team full of assholes. You see, there's a lot of teams around the NHL, they're not getting as lucky as us. Toronto Maple Leafs fans and their media, they've been loving this Lane Hutson situation over the past couple of weeks. They're probably crying right now that it didn't end the way that, they wanted it to. But the Leafs, over the past couple of decades, they've been known as a team that's, they overpay for some of their players. And a more recent example of a lucrative contract would be the Minnesota Wild giving Kirill Kaprizov a huge contract extension that's going to be giving him an average cap hit of $17 million. Holy shit. That's big money. He's a Kirillionaire. But meanwhile, in Montreal, if we take a look at the Canadiens core right now, it's a lot more reasonable. Nick Suzuki, this is the man who pretty much started this trend internally. Okay, this guy deserves a lot of credit. He signed a contract during the Marc Bergevin era. But Suzuki's making under $8 million. Caulfield, he's not even making as much as Suzuki. He's a little short. Had to get that one dig in there. Then we got Slavkovsky. He's at 7.6. Caden Gooley's at 5.5. Wow. And as of today, of course, Lane Hutson has been signed for under $9 million a season. But there's no doubt about it, the Habs, they're building something special right now. They're the youngest team in the National Hockey League, and players around the NHL, they're obviously going to start to take notice of this stuff, okay? This is something that everybody's going to want to be a part of. Noah Dobson is a prime example already. His camp even admitted that this is a player that left money on the table because he wanted to be a Hab. And I don't want to get your hopes up, but you might as well get used to it because he will not be the last one. Montreal is the place to be. And it's incredible that they've been able to build a culture like this. But now that we're on the topic of money and contracts, I know some of you you're probably wondering who's next. So let's take our time and bring up some names. Now, Kirby Dach, he's going to need a contract when this season comes to an end, okay? But I don't really consider his contract a serious situation. Kirby's making just a little over $3 million right now, but the problem here is that his team of doctors that keep him together, they're probably making $10 million. All right, he comes with baggage. Now, Patty Laine, that's a whole conversation of its own, okay? He's currently in the final season of an $8.7 million contract. I don't know if they're going to keep him. My guess is no, but what I do know is wherever he goes, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that he makes that kind of money again. I hope you've been saving this stuff. There's no way he wasted that kind of money on Fortnite skins, right? Arbor Jacki, he's going to need a new contract. I'm willing to bet they're going to get him pretty cheap. And moving on, I know it sounds crazy, but at the right cost, I'd even be willing to bring back Mike Matheson for an extra season or two, depending on the situation, of course. But the real question mark, the most interesting character that needs a contract in the very near future is Zachary Bolduc. And it's the Duke, in my opinion, who should be priority number one for Kent Hughes going forward. I mean, a lot of people don't realize it, but he's actually a pup. Bolduc's just 22 years old, And if he keeps finding the back of the net like he was doing it in St. Louis pretty consistently towards the end of the season, well, when the summer rolls around, Hughes might even look at this kid and see him as a part of the core as well. Okay, that's the kind of impact that I think Zachary Bolduc can have on this team right now. He's over 6 feet. He's feisty. He's got that engine that just never seems to quit. I'm a big fan of his game. I'm a big fan of his work ethic. And while I was a little skeptical when the Canadiens first went out and acquired him, mostly because I was a big fan of Logan Mailloux, you know what? Bolduc, he's already making me forget about Mailloux. Mailloux is now Mayhew. And I'm going to tell you a little story. Blues fans, they're not too happy with Mailloux right now. I wish him the best. I'm not one of these people that, hoping that he doesn't go on to have a good career, because I do. But Blues fans, they're not happy. And I did watch some of the Blues game against the Flames a couple of days ago, and man, Mailloux's defensive game was downright disgusting. He was getting densed up, and he was getting taken advantage of like a young man at the Cotton Club. It was not a pretty sight to see. But the Duke, again, I like this kid. In fact, I like every young player that the Canadiens have on this team right now. I think what they've been building is incredible. And not only are these young guys talented, super talented, but they're really good friends. And they all bought into this team concept where, hey, maybe if we leave a little bit of change on the table and we don't take all the money, Big Papa Kent, he can combine all that change and bring in one of the biggest names on the market to help us go on to win a Stanley Cup. That's exactly how I'm seeing it. You gotta love it. I'm proud of him. And like I said, I couldn't be happier right now with this Lane Hutson deal. And what I want now is for every one of you that are listening to let me know how you feel about Lane Hutson's contract down in the comments section. Do you like it? Do you love it? I want to hear your take. My apologies if this video seems kind of off. I mean, I'm not recording this where I would normally be recording it, and I'm also not even home, okay? I was in a bit of a rush to get this video out to you guys. That's love right there. Same as what we're seeing on the ice. That's us. Please don't forget to slap that like button before you leave here. And hey, if you like this kind of content, make sure you're subscribed. And equally as important, if you don't like it, don't subscribe. And also, you're like 8 minutes into the video, so I don't really know what you're doing here. That's some next level hatred. Go Habs go, and I'll see you next time.